Go.
So we are arriving to the end of our sequence, and I picked a few ones which are very important. For example, camel pose, because it's a very deep back bending and we need to do a lot of back bends. Why? Because the spine is crunching forward throughout the day, especially when we are in front of the laptop and our head is down. So how we can recreate our right posture is when we do deep back bendings. So here is camel pose, which Cassandra will help me to first show how it works. There are two ways to practice. Can you please come here, Cassandra? The easiest way is the easier option. First of all, hips width apart with your knees. So if you come here, you can see her hips is this wide. So the knees needs to be that wide minimum as well. And then you come here behind and you are going to support your lower back, not like this, like many times you can see, but this way. So let me show you. Not putting your hands this way, but this way. So the palms facing towards the lower back. Why? Because that allows the shoulder to open up more. If I put it here, I'm locking the shoulder, it cannot open. If I put it here, I can move so much more. So let's see how Cassandra is doing. Exactly. So this is pushing forward and your shoulders pulling down, even the elbows pulling down. Yes. And the head is all the way down. If you flex your feet, engaging Pada Bandha, engaging Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha as well. It's very important these two to squeeze, because that gives a good foundation. It's not good if you're moving too much back, because then if it's too much back like that, you cannot hold it. I mean too much back like this. So keep it there. Option 2 is you place your hands all the way down, and here we need to pull this forward. So this moving forward, the upper body, and you are pulling the heels upwards. So you're not putting weight on it, but actually you are pulling this upwards. And that helps the stretching to go deeper even more. Nice. So how to come back? Always head comes last. So you come, and the head comes last. It's a nice way to come down to child pose after camel pose, to rest a little bit. And you can always do some massage on your, if you have private session, on your client, to release. Move a bit here. And I think it's also good to do right now the rabbit pose, which is now from a deep back bending moving into a deep forward bending. So let me show you. This is a very important pose, because there is only a few poses where we can really open up the trapezius muscle, open up the shoulder blades. But before we go down, first and most, we need to make sure how to hold the heels. So the heels moving from like that. The thumb is out and the 4 fingers are inside, and you grab it like that. And both hands straightening up the spine. Knees are closed, and slowly rounding the spine down, rounding, lifting up the hips. Here we need to be careful when we do the rabbit pose, not to put weight on the neck. How can I do that? Is that I'm moving as close as possible my forehead towards the knee, and I'm pulling the shoulders downwards. This helps to keep this strong alignment, moving the hips forward, pulling the shoulders down, and that creates a nice opening. And we need to make sure that again there is no weight on the neck. hips are moving up. We are strongly holding to that, and just keep on pulling, shoulders moving down, hips are moving forward. Very good, and we slowly coming back. Nice. I want to show you also how to stretch your feet. So the feet is a very important part of our body which we like to neglect. So we sit on the heels, but the heels are together. Many times people do this, no good. Keep the feet together, heels together. And what we do is lifting up our feet without pulling. Many times you see this, it's not stretching your toes. So it's important that you're sitting on your heel and then lifting up as much as it goes, and you feel it's painful. That's very, very important to keep on holding the weight back and keeping the heels together. Let's see Cassandra work. Yes, so you're pushing the weight backwards and you're pulling up. And you can see the heels are a little bit open, but try to keep it as close as possible. Yes, and move it up, 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 up. Is it painful?
Yes.
Good. And then once you finish, you come back and we can do some contrast stretch, moving back and forth. Yes, and you keep one heel all the way down, right heel down, and the left foot goes behind. So here you can see now we are stretching the calf and the Achilles tendon. Very good, and swap to the other side. Cassandra's Achilles is quite flexible because you can see the heel can go all the way down. Most of the times it's not the case, but if you want to have a deeper stretch, step further with your hands. And now push. Good.
Yes.
You can feel it's much deeper, and you can feel the stretch is also going there. Yesterday Cassandra was running, so this is actually perfect for runners. Make sure that you do this before and after your run. So this is called running FitYoga, we call it, when we are just running and then you place it and hold it. Very good. Thank you, Cassandra. So just to show you how it works with the energy lines, here is the camel pose. You can see there was option 1 when you support your lower back. So you don't need to go that deep. This is option 2 when you reach down to the heel. There is an important movement towards the front. So as I'm going all the way down, instead of being stuck here and put my weight down, I'm moving forward. Would you mind? Sure. Really gonna show you from this part. So the biggest mistake people do is this. Do you see? Their weight is all the way back and they're shrinking into their heels. No, I'm pushing myself away, moving my hips forward, opening my shoulders and relaxing with my head. Pulling my weight forward, opening my shoulders. And when I come back, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm pulling my hips forward. Remember, engaging Padabandha, engaging Mula and Uddiyana Bandha. Head is relaxing all the way down, and I'm pushing the weight away from my heels, so it's something like this movement. Okay, so from here, I'm moving my arms pushing forward. This next pose is called Pigeon pose. Cassandra? Actually, I can show it, so Cassandra can rest. So, Pigeon pose, very important. One leg bend. You place a block or whatever you have to elongate the spine. Your knees are hips width apart. You see, right leg, right side of the mat, left knee, left side. It's not one line because my hips cannot really nicely stabilize. I need to keep the hips width apart between my two knees, and then I grab my foot with my elbow. I use the block in front to help the elongation of the spine, and I'm not sitting and shrinking like you see many times like this. Problem, you can see my spine is really nice, really badly distorted and twisted, and my hips should face forward. So I need to come up from this position. I'm not sitting on my heel. I need to come up. I need to push my weight away up towards the sky so that I have a nice elongation in my spine, which we call a vertical alignment. And you can see my hips facing forward, and I'm holding with my elbow. If it's too difficult, you can hold with your hands and twisting forward and holding it. There is an option too where you grab your hands, and here you make sure that you're pulling not with your head. Your head is many times you will pull it. No, the head is not bothering, your arm is not bothering your head, it's free so that it's not pushed away. Okay, and slowly we release. You can make your stretch, pulling back, and then the other side, 5 deep breath, and we come to the other side. Again, remember, hips width apart, knees. Place your block in front, grab your foot, elongate your spine. Your chin is pulled in and down, Yalandhara Bandha, engage all the bandhas. And when you feel ready, you can open up, looking forward. And if you really want to put more stretching on your quads, because this is about stretching the quadriceps, the front muscles on your back leg, you can also pull a little bit, pulling more your leg. You can see? So from here, I'm putting more pressure, and it's really painful. So how does it look like? Here. Elongation of the spine. Okay? I'm not sitting on it. Here it doesn't show as well. My drawing is not perfect, but we pull the leg forward and we make sure that your hips are square, because it turns out, unless you are conscious about it, that's why I do this curved line, so that the hips need to be pulled back into the front, squared hips we call it, and as you're pulling here and here, there is a nice elongation happening, engaging all the bandhas. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Yalandhara Bandha. And your focus is, focal point, drishti is towards the front. Okay, seated forward bend is very simple. You can use a strap for beginners. You place it up there. You roll it over. Always, I teach that when we forward bend, we must keep the spine straight so that we can safeguard our lower back, especially if someone with a herniated disc. We want to do a stretch like this. If that is difficult for someone, because it could be like this, you know, or there could be like this, that you support in the back, and that's how far you can go. You can also help the movement when you bend your knees, that it's easy to move forward and even place your head down but I remind you that this is a different aim of the stretching, because here I'm not stretching much my hamstrings. So if I want to stretch my hamstring, I must lock my knees so that I can go into my hamstrings, which is the main purpose of this seated forward bend. And I'm reaching forward. If you can interlace your fingers, even better. And you're reaching forward. If you are very much advanced, you can put a block in front and pull, or you can put further out, and you can see you can pull with your elbow towards the ground. Elongate the spine and pull. And later on you can also move down with your head. The most important, I suggest to keep the head higher up so that you can initiate the elongation of the spine. How does it look like? On our drawing, you can see this guy is not really straightening the spine, so I wanted to adjust this because I want the guy look a bit up. Oops. And holding. So make sure that you're pulling energy lines, pulling towards the front, flex your padabandha, lift your head up slightly, and bend your elbow so you can pull, and you can see a nice slight back bending to support the lower back. Okay, you can do the same thing. From here we can move to right away the wide angle seated forward bend. So you open your leg. Now we are engaging the locked knees again, flex our feet and place our hands behind, and I'm pulling myself forward. Again, you can see my spine is not rounded. Many times you see people like, I want to go down, and what do people want? They see the teacher. If the teacher is doing this, okay, what does the student want to do? Want to do the same. So what do they do? This. Oh, I'm doing the same. I can do this. Very good. It's easy. It's not good. What I want is elongated spine, and moving forward with elongated spine. You can use a block to support the elongation, underneath the chest. Or if you can go lower down, underneath your chin. I highly recommend to spend 15-20 minutes in here. So when you have an assignment from your yoga teacher, watching documentaries every day, you should do it in this pose. You put the laptop in forward, in front, put it here. Instead of doing seated pose on your table in front, you just come down and you're watching the film. Very, very important. This is a yin yoga class here. While you're training your mind, you are also training your body, and you are getting further and further with your stretch. This is what I was doing when I was 7-8 years old as a gymnast. It's
you can go like this. Me, I'm like this. So I cannot make dots.
You will, after a couple of days, if you do this, you will see that each day you go a bit further.
After 30 minutes, you'll be fine.
So just make sure that, again, keep your spine elongated, reaching forward, and just relax. I highly recommend also when you take a hot shower, that's the best time for stretching the hamstrings especially.
So it stretches hamstring and
yes, and the lower back, your hips, everything. It's so nice. Now there is the pose which I wrote there, wide angle seated turn. It's very important that from here we have other things which we can do. If you are already here with your client, why not using a strap? Put it there. If the student cannot reach outside of the sole. You can have this. Left hand, right leg. Place the right arm behind. Elongate the spine. Turning a bit out. And then reaching forward. Do you see my spine? From here, I am moving now to this direction. Because many times you can see that people do this, rounded, and their upper body is that way. But now,